Since I was a young boy, gaming has always been my favorite hobby. Unfortunately for me, my parents logically put restrictions on how much I was allowed to play on any given day. Until middle school, this was 30 minutes a day. It sucked to have to spend so much time playing outside, socializing, and being curious about things in the real world while waiting for my glorious gamer time. It was basically child abuse when you think about it. Thankfully, middle school came around and now I was more free to do what I wanted, which at the time was Call of Duty. I would play with friends online during school days and pull all-nighters during sleepovers over the weekends. It was a great time to be a teenager with no self-restraint. This pattern continued throughout high school, except by then we had laptops and would play lovely computer games such as League of Legends. The nice thing about gaming from middle through high school is that it was something fun to do with my friends in my free time. The important thing was that outside of that free time, I had structure in my life. I was in school and I liked school. I'm a nerd, so learning new stuff in class was fun for me, even if I didn't always put forth my best effort. Even if you ignore the learning aspect, I had a schedule. I'd wake up, get ready, walk to school, learn, see my friends, get exercise in gym class, then walk home. It was predictable and engaging. It gave me routine, challenge, socialization, and exercise. I was happy with this style of life, and gaming served as a really fun icing on the cake. This continued through college. A lot of people struggle when they go to college because of how large the transition is, but I did okay after my first semester. Once I got past my nerves and got engaged with campus life, I had friends, started rock climbing, liked my classes, and life was pretty great. I commuted from home, which also helped me maintain some of that stability and familiarity that others tend to lose when they move out. League of Legends was awesome in college. I joined a club for it and was on the collegiate team. I was really getting into competing and just loved playing and doing my best. I felt productive and engaged in my life, so it was easy to have a passion for League. It was guilt-free. Time went on, I graduated, got engaged, and COVID started. I moved out from home and was suddenly out in the real world, experiencing a completely different life than I was used to. Instead of structured learning and routine, it was time to start my life. It was time to turn my degree into a real full-time job. It was time to grow up. Rather than grieving the loss of my childhood and stepping up to the occasion, I focused on my relationship with my fiancé and my relationship with League of Legends, all a man really needs. Over time, I started leaning really hard on both to avoid the reality that my childhood was over. I was becoming a professional at avoiding my emotions and stress, which kept building and building under the surface until I broke. One day, I was playing a Clash tournament and my arm just broke. It had a massive spasm out of nowhere and I experienced pain like I had never felt before. My arm was searing. All of my muscles felt like they were on fire. I shouted out in my Discord and told my friends what happened. I told them with a shaky voice, I don't think I'm going to be able to play the rest of this game. My arm got put in a cast and I started doing everything with my left arm, which ended up having a smaller spasm and breaking a month later. I ended up losing the ability to use both of my arms for 9 months. I couldn't use a computer, rock climb, play piano, or really do any of my hobbies. It sucked. Another part of the stress I was avoiding until I broke at this time was about my relationship. Things were not working out and I started becoming a person that I never saw myself being. I wasn't happy. Being in denial and trying to force stuff to work is one of my specialties, and my partner and I were so codependent that we kept avoiding the possibility that it just wasn't meant to be. In my head, I was trying to be committed to fixing everything. What I didn't realize soon enough was that I was compounding massive amounts of anxiety that kept getting buried deeper and deeper in my denial. One of the breaking points was that she realized that she was actually a lesbian. It turned out she was just gay for other men, not finding me attractive anymore. Even then, she wanted to make the relationship work, and I was like, dude, how can this shit ever work if you're not attracted to me? I was devastated. I started smoking weed every day just to deal with the sheer sadness and boredom. Breakups are tough enough, but having that happen for that reason while I'm badly injured was really fucking terrible. It was genuinely the worst period of time in my life. I'm glad I'm still here today. This part of my life was traumatic, and I've been picking up the pieces very slowly ever since. My depression is so much better than it was, but I realize that while I don't bury my feelings as hard as I used to, there are still issues going on that I've been struggling to understand. One of those is that I don't feel the same passion for things that I used to. Gaming, especially League of Legends, used to be the one thing I was confident would never change for me. I thought I'd be obsessed for life. What I realized is that my relationship with gaming changed over time. I went from it being a passion, an outlet for me to focus and challenge myself with, to being a way to avoid looking in the mirror. From putting icing on the cake to just chugging icing. Gaming is not inherently bad. I still love it. I still think it can be a great hobby or even a way of living if you make it into a business successfully. But I've realized that I've been wasting a lot of my time avoiding my issues. Some of me wants to get better. I'm tired of being anhedonic. I'm tired of having a life I want to escape from. But another part of me wants to stay comfortable. It's hard. I wanted to share a bit of my story because I think this can happen to anyone, with anything. If you're having trouble right now and feel like you might be doing things for the wrong reasons, take a look in the mirror. Take accountability and move forward.